know.
We're live.
We're live. We're into it. So please note that Councillor Ludeman's here, but it is operational as such matter in the adoption of the minutes. So agenda item number 2, just is someone prepared to move that this is a true reflection of the meeting?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Councillor Payne, well, and I'll go to Councillor Valwela for a second when he tells me.
I'm having a second version.
I'm just worried that if we move in second. Oh, well, yeah, we can do
the
that.
amendments, so we take all into account.
Yeah, all those amendments are taken into account and any further ones. So I've got moved Councillor Payne, seconded Councillor Herbert. Jules, not Jules, you've got a name, Bruce. Councillor Valwela.
Just on page 24, there is a motion, resolution that council confirms removes specific capital projects of the existing long-term plan. So I think that should read something like council confirms the specific projects, and Julie sent out that list yesterday. So it's a bit ambiguous if you say confirms removes. Doesn't really make sense.
Confirms the removal.
No, just confirms specific.
What page are you on?
Page 24 of the agenda.
Yeah.
Confirms.
Right in the middle of it. It doesn't actually say unanimous or moved either, does it?
No.
Or as a
Oh,
result.
I've got you. Confirms removed. So which one was it?
Confirm. Well, you did
Confirms.
both, didn't you?
Well, there were projects removed, but that's why there wasn't a list of the changes made until yesterday. I can't remember specifically what changed.
I can see, we confirm some and we remove some. So she's going to confirm remove.
But do you want them all listed in the minutes?
No, they don't need to be
No.
now. I just say confirms the,
Removal.
just council confirms the specific capital projects as per the attached list or something.
But we did remove some as well.
Or are we confirming it or are we removing them?
Both. We
We're
confirm some
confirming
and
the
we remove
removal
some.
of.
If you do the,
Well, how about confirms and removes? Just a simple word. Connector.
you're happy with that, Bruce?
Yeah, that's really.
Is the move and the second are happy with that? Just confirms and removes. Okay, then put to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Thank you. Now, I had it that I was going to go through individual recommendations, and yet for this one, possibly a wee bit pedantic. Hold on, Julie's even. Oh, yeah. So in addition to these ones, we've also got to have it because Jules and I have got to sign off for Haiti today. There is another recommendation that council approves the mayor and deputy chief executive sign the letter of representation for the 24-34 long-term plan report. It's just a procedural thing, but we've got to have it. So, so I'll have a shot at taking all recommendations for this particular one, including the addition of that one. Is someone prepared to move all the recommendations on page 66, 67?
Happy.
Councillor Catherwood moves. Someone prepared to second?
Yeah, we're just chewing our way through it, right?
Yeah, I know it's meaty and yet it's all sort of the operational stuff that I see Steve's hand up. Steve?
Can I just, yes, we just check, Sharon, is council looking at the replacement page item?
Yeah, I've said that, Steve, with there was the addition that council approves me and Jules sign the letter of representation.
And including those policies, investment policies and treasury management?
Oh, sorry, that was circulated last night.
Oh, yes. No.
They were updated to reflect the fact that we have a credit rating, which is why they're coming to you again for approval, even though we approved them back in February.
Yeah.
Didn't read it.
Right, tell you what I'm going to do. Go right back to doing them individually. Let's pull the handbrake on and see how long we can take. So, First recommendation, someone prepared to move that we receive it. Councillor Finch, Councillor Payne. All those in favour? Those against? Recommendation number 2. Pretty straightforward one. Someone prepared to move it. Councillor Finch, seconded. Councillor Payne. Any discussion? All those in favour? Those against? Item number 3, that we take all the strategies and policies, which we'll do anyway. I'm happy to move that. Someone prepared to second. Councillor Graham. Any discussion? All those in favour? Those against? Then this bit number 4, this is where it is, isn't it?
Still a significance and engagement
Yeah,
policy.
but you see, yeah, I know, but you see it goes to significance and engagement policy.
So can leave that one. Do those ones.
So, number 4, someone prepared to move the adoption of the significance and engagement policy. Councillor Finch moved. Councillor who second? Councillor Ludeman seconds. All those in favour? Those against? Then we move, these are the ones that we got last night. The council adopts the investment and
Late
liabilities. Sorry?
The late items, I'm just saying.
Yeah, so the council adopts the investment and liability policy 2024 and the treasury management policy 2024 updated to reflect council obtaining the credit rate. So we've just got to acknowledge that so moved Councillor Ludeland, seconded Councillor Graham. Any discussion? All those in favour? Those against? Then there's the one for me and Jules to sign the representation one. I'll move that. We do it every year. Seconded Councillor Finch. Any discussion? All those in favour? Those against? And that council delegates approval of final corrections and formatting like we always do. We leave that to the Chief Executive. Move Councillor Finch, seconded Councillor Herbert. All those in favour? Those against? Thank you. And then finally, no, that's it. Guys, we couldn't have done that all in one? Really?
Yes,
Please? Right. So let's move that one. Right, do note on this one that we've got 3 recommendations and then we've got more recommendations. But Sharon, do you have anything to add to the rates resolutions for the financial year?
Sorry, going back, I did have Simon's just said in the policy, it referred still to checks, and I had that saying there's no checks anymore, is there?
Several times there's some lines on checks.
Yeah. I did have that
Signing authority for
highlighted.
checks, but yeah. You're too quick
Yes,
on me.
thank
to
you.
bring it up.
Yeah.
It's like a CE edit.
Yeah.
Chief Executive edits those ones. Beauty, had it covered.
Thank you.
And it's been reviewed.
Yeah, got reviewed with the checks on it.
Yes, it did. Thank you, Your Worship. With the rates resolution, you were issued a replacement page after it went through legal review. So there was only some minor adjustments to that, and we, when it came out to you, you would have had a list of the things we did change. We updated the name of Balmoral 1 and 2 into Topeka. There's some date changes, and there's one more date change today on resolution number 5. For the penalty dates, it should say the 6th of December and December, not the 16th. That's my time. Other than that, take it as read.
Mine just goes with blank thing.
Are you aware that Word document that was dropped in our folders, rates resolution, when you open it, it's actually blank?
Yeah, I had to get
We
Simon
don't.
to email it through to me so I could then get into it.
It worked through that comms drive.
Yeah, go to the staff one where it says in the bottom, you can get it.
Thanks for that. Look into that.
So questions for Sharon, anyone? Okay, so we'll start rolling.
What, where are we at?
What's that behind there?
Something's popped up on the live
Yeah,
stream.
you can carry on.
Okay, team, so let's tick through the first 3 recommendations on page 79. So first, can someone please move that we receive the rates resolution financial
So moved.
Thank you, Ken. Seconded by councillor Ludeman. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Second one, that we note the rates resolutions for the financial year. I'll move that we note them. Councillor Finch, seconded. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? And the third one is that we are setting the rates.
Move.
Move councillor Finch, seconded. Councillor Ludeman, team, it's pretty operational. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Move over to the further 4 on page 85. The first one is that we're going to do 4 instalments. Is that a moving, councillor Catherine?
Yep. Pretty standard, isn't it?
Yep, they all are, Ken. That's why I'm wondering why we're taking so long. Councillor Ludeman seconding. All those in favour? Those against? Next one's penalties. Move councillor Finch, seconded councillor Herbert. All those in favour? Oh, and remember that there was that December change in there. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? The 10% applying to the penalties. All standard things that we've done for 100 years. Councillor Ludeman, seconded councillor Mackie. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against, thank you. And we resolve not to collect rates that have been.
$10.
Yeah.
Move, thank you. Move councillor Payne, seconded councillor Mackie. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against?
Sorry.
Thank you, Sharon.
Sorry, just on resolution 6. It's got this penalty, second sentence, this penalty will be added from 1st of July 2023.
23 instead of 24. 5, 4.
6.
Sorry, where's that, councillor Holwell?
Number 6.
Resolution.
On
Number six.
on the replacement page, it says 1 July 24.
Okay, representation review. Do I go to Natasha?
Oh, it's on the 10.
Okay, floor's yours, Natasha. Welcome.
Kia ora koutou. I'd just like to welcome Dale and Ben behind you there on the screen in Auckland from Election Services. They're joining us for any questions or any information you may require.
Kia ora, Dale and Ben.
Morning,
everyone. Morning.
I'd just like to take the initial proposal as read and received. Is there any?
Questions, team? Councillor Ludeman.
I've got a question. If we change basically the ward boundaries quite almost considerably under this proposal, how does that affect some of our community services rates and things that are rated now for the areas? Because those areas will change.
No, they stay the same.
Stay the same. Sharon, do you have any comment? The community services rates areas aren't going to change with the ward boundary changes, are they?
For you, worship, no, not until you guys make a decision to change them.
All the time.
All the time. They have to, because it's quite different. That's just one concern I've thought about.
Through you, Your Worship, you guys can decide on your rating areas independently to your ward boundaries. That can be a decision you make in the future. Or you can have them the same. That's a valid decision as well.
Councillor McAtamney.
Yeah, just further to that, Ali, well, 2 blocks of land at home, side by side in different community service areas anyway, so it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And both deep inside the Clutha Valley ward, one's Lawrence Stewart Pico, one's Clutha. So.
Yeah, Stewie Cowie had his sharing shed on Clinton and house in Clutha Valley, wasn't it, or something? So further questions for Natasha, please. If not, thank you, Natasha. And also we should include those for Dale and Ben. Is there any questions that we now have for the team? It is a pretty big decision, but we had a fairly good thrash out of it the first time round. And I'd have to say that in the time of rumination in between, when you start thinking of the fundamentals that we're trying to achieve here, I think the team has done a really good job to come back to us with, you have a go-to councillor for every ward, you have a specific area so that everyone knows who they are. We have a more fit for purpose council in front of us. And there's things like this morning I asked, we're going to have to go to the Selwyn, we're going to have to go there en masse. And it's always been a problem when, and I see for the recompense that you guys have to take another day off work, another day off work, another day off work. We're answering a lot of the issues that we've found that have, of course, as we've moved to the enormous workload that is now placed on every councillor, we're moving to better reflect it. So I was comfortable with every aspect of it, actually. Councillor Finch, followed by McAtamaney.
Thank you. You did take out those two names on page 164. Thank you.
Yeah, at the time of the last meeting, I was sitting on Teams in a Hamilton hotel room, and it wasn't ideal. And I probably did a lot of thinking about this afterwards. I'm not convinced that we've quite got it right. It's a shame that this whole process has to be done in this long-term plan year, because it's a big issue. I think we probably got a bit, well, there's probably a bit of a general agreement that that a reduced number of councillors might be ideal. I think we got a bit fixated on a number of 9 pretty quickly. There was a whole myriad of other options of lesser or more councillors. We'd never considered, say, 10, 11, 12. And the reasons why I'm saying that is it may have given options for all sorts of ward boundary, different options for ward boundaries, and also it may have also given the possibility of still of some at-large councillors into the mix. So we really haven't looked at a lot of alternative options, and and we may well, and we may well get what we put forward, and it might not be the best option, and it's going to be very difficult in the future for a while to shift it again if we're not happy.
So I've got Steve and then Steve.
Thank you, Worship. I just a question for Dale and the team is, I understand what Councillor McAtamaney has said, and we have to remember in context how we got to that position, that it sort of came out of the blue a little bit in further deliberations around after the consultation, because it wasn't part of the original consultation proposal. And so we know that it was never going to be a perfect, proposal as a consequence of that. But Dale, I wondered, does council, can you let us know, do we have many options to do some further homework after this formal proposal goes out? Or, when council makes its final decisions based on this formal proposal being approved and going out, does it have flexibility to make further changes?
Yes, it does. So what council's doing, which must do by the 31st of July, is make its initial proposal resolution, which we're working towards. That then goes out for public consultation, where the public can make submissions. Now, this is the flexibility that council has, is that council can change its initial proposal when it's determined its final proposal, but only as a result of submissions. So you can't suddenly bring in something new that wasn't in the initial proposal in your final proposal. You can't bring anything new in unless it's in the form of a full submission from the public.
Councillor Valwela. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Councillor
No, that's all right, because Steve's asked my question. At the end of that, I think it's a great document, Natasha, and look, the community's going to tell us. I hope. Yeah.
Councillor
Thanks for
Wong.
asking me, Steve, that was my question.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through just a question also for Dale. When it comes this, the opportunity for people to object to our final decision, do they have to have submitted previously on the proposal, or can anyone
If
object?
the council changes its initial proposal and the final proposal is different, then anyone can object. If council retains the initial proposal as a final proposal, then only those that made a submission can object or appeal, I think the wording is. So there's a slightly difference there.
Okay, thank you.
I think it'll be interesting, like what we're going out with will definitely raise interest in the public. And ultimately, they can go right down to one person objecting and the commissioners decide. So the opportunity for this to get the rigour put into it and any changes made, there's a lot of opportunities. Anyone that's been through this process before will know one person challenges and all hell breaks.
We can't help that, though. That's the way.
No, we can't. But the rigour is there, John. It's not like this is the final.
Yeah, that's good.
So, Councillor Volwin.
Can you open it up for discussion?
I was going to go through one by one and have it. I don't think we can take these all at once, so I was just going to go through and have discussion on each one.
Okay. Just
Read the first one out. Is that okay? Just
yes,
that we received the
happy to
report.
do that. Yeah.
So Councillor Volwheeler, Councillor Herbert, that we received the report. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Now we move on to that we received the feedback, early feedback. Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Finch. All those in favour?
All right, can we have discussion on that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, this is interesting now, because when we went out and got that early feedback, and then feedback generally, the vast majority of people were happy both with the representation the way it was with wards and such like, and with the number of councillors. So we're changing things quite significantly. So I think we have to at least be aware of that. So
We've already seen it. We've already had this information.
yeah, no, we've had the
We've already
information.
had it.
But I think this is, now we've got something completely different that we're coming up with, possibly going to put into place, adopt as our proposal. So I think we just have to be aware this is not something that the public has been pushing for. This has come from around this council table.
I think it's a combination. I think, for me, certainly the pressure that since 1989 till today, and especially in recent years, this entire organisation is unrecognisable, except for the political one. It hasn't changed one bit. And it's up to us, if we can see the limitations that the present structure has, that we've at least got to show leadership. But we went through the discussion before. Councillor Payne.
Yeah, I think we always sit here, Your Worship, and say, what are the people that aren't saying anything, thinking? And we always do that. I mean, 55 submissions, that's a very small representation of that community. Well, that's how I read through this. But, yeah.
But it'd be through you, Your Worship, but this, going out to the public with this proposal, I think 55 might turn into about.
Well, and then
so, and that's part of the process.
Yeah,
That's what we want.
That's what we want. We want the people to engage and take that ownership.
Yep.
Where were we on this? We already. My apologies. We're in a second such discussion. If it's the end of the discussion, put it to the vote. Is that okay? So all those in favour? Those against. Moving to the third one, which is in accordance with 1980. Just breaks down Clinton Ward 2, Bruce Way, Hole, but we can see it all there going down through. Questions and then followed by discussion. So questions first for Natasha on the specific one, or Dale and Ben. Discussion.
Thank you, Worship. With this one here, I just have a concern about a couple of the names of a couple of the wards there. When you look at the boundaries for both the Lawrence Tuapeka, what's called Lawrence Tuapeka here, and the Kaimata ward, they're both encroaching well into the what is presently the Bruce ward. I think with Lawrence Tuapeka, there should be a name change there, possibly to Tuapeka End or something like that. I'm just one that came off the top of my head, but call the proposed ward, which is, I'll have to go to the map, the Lawrence Tuapeka ward map, which comes down right, well, it comes to the boundary of to Belclutha. So it incorporates Hill End, Crichton, Adams Flat, such like. So that's the name should be changed there. In fact, I think it even takes in Councillor
I'll be on Lawrence to a big one.
So I think
Takes in Clydevale as well. So.
Yeah, so it's a vast, like that's a big change, and I think just to stick with the name Lawrence Tuapeka, it would actually get objections to that just based on that from people in the lower part of that. So that I'll open that one up for discussion, and then I'll also like to talk about the Kaimata Award as well.
So I'll specifically, let's have a discussion on the Lawrence Tuapeka, Councillor Graham, followed by Mark.
Not Lawrence Tuapeka.
You were going to have a go Kaimata?
Yeah.
Yeah, righto. So we'll do that second. We'll do Lawrence Tuapeka, then Kaimata.
It's simple really, as Kaimata North Kaitanga or the greater Kaitanga ward really. Just got to think outside the square with it.
Councillor Martin.
Through you, Chair, once again, this is part of the process, the consultation process. So why are we worrying about something that's going to be consulted on at the moment? Like the people will tell us what they want. Yeah. I think we're pulling the trigger before we've got it in the breach.
I could sort of go with something like an extended Lawrence Tuapeka ward. The extended, like something, but I'm not going to get too hung up on the name because
Yeah.
Steve.
Simon, yeah.
Simon.
Yeah, agreeing with Councillor Martin, I'm pretty sure we'd have the opportunity to edit these ward names. It's the boundaries of the cheese.
It's everything. So it's as is on for these recommendations. But what we have done is been specific in the consultation questions.
Yeah.
So we have got one question around what do you think of the ward names? So it gives direct opportunity for people rather than just saying, well, do you agree with the initial proposal? We've gone quite targeted in our questions so that they do provide specific feedback so we can bring that into the consideration for the final proposal.
And that ward actually is very similar to the water scheme, the Balmoral, Tuapeka water scheme. The whole area is effectively the water scheme.
There's an option. I'll go to Steve.
Yeah, I was just going to say, similar to Natasha and some of the other councillors, unless a new name just made huge sense that everybody could just agree to, then the consultation process and the questions should generate submissions sufficient to be able to make calls, do some homework and make some calls on the most appropriate names that you wish to go forth with when you make those decisions.
Have we exhausted the Lawrence Tuapeka and go to Bruce for the discussion on Kaimata, is it? Yeah, Kaimata.
Done. Greater Kai. The greater Kaitanga. Get them.
Sorry, which Bruce?
So no, I was going to Bruce for the Kaimata and then Sam, whether we can, if the general consensus is, hey, look, this is going to get sorted out with the wording, with the opportunity, Or do we specifically go back and try and come up with a name?
I think it's gonna come out in the submission process.
Ellie?
We probably walk about in the submission process, but I actually like the comment of the Balmoral to Topeka. It would be in keeping with the new order scheme. To me, that would make actual sense.
Might not be keeping with Lawrence.
No.
No.
Yeah.
It's been tried once before and it didn't go too good for somebody.
Yeah. It's wait and see.
So I'm getting a feeling that the general consensus is, yeah, but we'll be guided by the wider public's opinion of the names. Bruce, what's your thoughts?
Look, seems to be I'm fighting a losing battle with this one, so I'll just leave it.
It wasn't so much that, was there a name that you had that resonated with everyone?
I don't think we're going to end up with a name that will resonate with everybody anyway. So I did think for Lawrence, it should be the Topeka ward, Topeka Highland ward or something like that.
Remember what happened when Jeff Blackmore?
There were, Lawrence is one township. In the past, we've had the Bruce ward, which didn't have Milton, which included the township of Milton, but we didn't have Milton wasn't a Milton Bruce ward. So
The Martin Empire.
So, and we've got the Catlins ward. It doesn't say Awaka Catlins, so why does it have to be Lawrence Topeka?
That ain't broken.
I'm sure the constituents will inform us.
Sorry,
Constituents.
yeah. Just
I might not even be in
Final
there.
comment on that. Well, let's just see what flushes out in the consultation. I can tell you that Ellie in Topeka won't come in.
So that's fine with me. What say we just call all the wards in the meantime, A, B, C, D, E, and F, G, and see what people names.
So I'm getting the general consensus is that we leave the names the way they are.
I'll get more sugar into it.
I'm getting the energy up.
Right. So I've got a recommendation back there on 3. Is someone prepared to push? That'll bring it to a head. Was that a move, Councillor Finch?
Yeah.
Move, Councillor Finch, seconded by who? Councillor Graham. Discussion. Vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Thank
I'm
you.
voting against it.
Done. Noted.
Would you read your submission?
Not your submission. Right, number 4.
Happy to move.
Move Councillor Volweiler, seconded by someone. Seconded Councillor Graham. Discussion before we put to the vote. If not, put to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against, and then the noting of ongoing process and timelines. Councillor Finch, Councillor, who seconded it? Councillor Payne. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Was there any other recommendation?
No, that's it.
That was it. That's it, team.
Yeah.
We're not in public exclusion. So that just brings the meeting to a close. And I'm bringing it